Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John R. and I'm your instructor. Today I'm going to talk to you about sanding. Now, sanding is important to a jeweler because you need to sand sometimes in order to remove scratches from a piece and prepare it for polishing. Now, I've got a variety of sandpapers here in all different grits. Most jewelers will start with a 320 grit and work through 400 and 600 before they attempt to polish. Now, if they want a finer finish on the surface where they don't have to polish quite as much, they may work through 1000, 1200, 1500, and 1800 grits. They could also have in their bench the emery papers, which would be 2/0 and 4/0, which are the finest of the papers. Now, if they're using these papers, they're probably using them to refine steel tools like gravers in order to put a mirror finish to them so that they leave a mirror finish on their work. Now, when I work with the sandpaper, I like to store it in old manila file folders that I can easily write the grit number on the file folder. That way I don't get anything mixed up. And because sometimes when you work with the sandpapers, you might cut away a section and the number that's printed on the back of the sandpaper will be lost, or the section that you cut away didn't even have it to begin with. So if you always put things away in the right file folder, you always know what sandpaper you're working with. Now, you can use these types of papers and adapt them, or you can buy ready-made types of adaptations, such as these sanding sticks here. Now, these sanding sticks are for a professional jeweler, but there's no reason why you can't use them too, and they have a variety of sanding belt grits already applied to them. Likewise, these sticks, which come in a variety of different shapes and sizes, they have different sandpaper grits on them as well. Or you could check out one of our other videos about how to make your own sanding sticks using carpet tape and paint stir sticks. Now, some jewelers will actually just buy the sandpaper and they'll have one stick that they will use strips of sandpaper applied to that stick in order to have that sanding stick at the ready for whatever project they're using. Now, this one's kind of interesting. What this is this is a soft, flexible sanding material that's good for curved surfaces. Now, you could also use abrasive materials to create textures. Generally, we just want a soft texture, and what most jewelers will use would be either a Scotch-Brite material or some type of steel wool. In this case, this is a quadruple-aught steel wool. That's 4 zeros. Now, you could also automate or mechanize the sanding process by using sanding drums that are attached to a mandrel, or you could use a strip of sandpaper in a split mandrel with the Felx shaft in order to sand a surface. You could also use silicone sanding materials or finishing materials such as Cratex, but whenever you use any mechanized means to finish a piece of jewelry, you want to be sure to wear eye protection. And in this case, you may also want to apply a dust mask. And if you're going to be working with your electric motor, you may want, for a long period of time, you may also want to put in some ear protection because the sound of the motor can actually disturb your hearing at a certain frequency. Okay, what I'd like to do is show you how to finish a flat surface. Now, before I begin, let me just draw you a little picture of what I'm going to try to do. Now, if I have a piece of material, let's say I have a small square piece of material with a number of scratches on it, I would want to sand it in the manner that I'm about to show you. And what I want to do is I want to produce parallel lines of sanding across the surface of the piece as I finish. Now, if any of the initial scratches show up in those lines, such as this, I know that I need to go back and continue to sand at that grit until I get a surface that's just nothing but parallel lines. Okay, so now that you know what the goal is, let me show you how to achieve it. Now, you're going to want to get some type of container with a rim on it so that you can put water into it. Now, inside of this, you see that I have a piece of plexiglass. You don't want to use actual glass or a mirror, because you're going to apply pressure to the piece while you do this. And the pressure that you apply could potentially crack that piece of glass or mirror, and you might cut yourself. So we're going to use a plastic material. Likewise, you could also use a ceramic tile that has a flat finish. So I'm going to start with a 320 piece of sandpaper, 320 grit that is, and what I want to do is I want to get it wet. This is wet dry sandpaper, and I want to work underwater. Working underwater does a couple of things for me. Number one, it allows the sandpaper to release the lemel, or the small particles that come off the piece, into the water so that the sandpaper doesn't get clogged. And what that does is it extends the life of the sandpaper, allowing me to use it over and over again. I'm saving money doing it. So what you want to do is just get the sandpaper wet. You can just move some water on top of it. Doesn't really require a lot. When I say underwater, I just mean you're going to use a puddle. And at first what you want to do is you just want to move the piece around on top of the sandpaper. And what I would suggest is turn it around periodically so that you get different pressure points on the back of the piece, and just keep moving it around. And you can see there's nothing in the sandpaper yet. All the material is floating out of it. Okay, so you're going to do this for a little while until you feel like you have no interruption over the surface of the sandpaper. So when you're ready to finish up, what you're going to do is you're going to move back and forth, just like that. And that's what's creating parallel lines on the surface of your piece. So I'll turn this over and I'll let you take a look. So it's not completely free of any scratches, but you can begin to see the lines that they're going across the piece. I would need to sand this a little bit further in order for it to be completely done at a 320 level before I would move to the 400. Once you're done with this, you can just take the piece of sandpaper out, rinse it off, hang it up on a clothesline if you like, dry it out, and then tuck it away in your manila file folders for use the next time. I hope you have success sanding your projects. Check out our other videos and products on the onlinejewelryacademy.com. Thanks for watching.